Welcome back to the EchoVideo podcast. I'm your host, Hunter Tapley. Joining me as always is Bart. Bart, how have you been this week?
Hey Hunter, glad as always to be here. It's been a pretty good week. Pretty standard December week. I closed off the weekend by going to a concert in Toronto with a couple buddies. It's the session band who plays for Tame Impala, so that was pretty fun. Got to hang out with some Australian rockers, and then just work and hanging out. And I did, because I was bitterly disappointed by the release of the Callisto Protocol. I started playing Dead Space. Yeah. I mean, you're going to be more butthurt about this than I am. Or not butthurt, just heartbroken.
Yeah, I was kind of upset about Callisto Protocol. I thought...
Did you pre-order it?
No, I didn't buy it. Dude, I don't pre-order games ever, like, since Cyberpunk.
Can't take that risk. No, honestly, man, it's fair. All these games coming out.
Ever since I bought Cyberpunk, man, and I was cheated, I was so angry.
Mm-hmm. It should really be
upset by that.
Like unacceptable for companies to have to like issue refunds on games that they're selling for $90 now with tax $100.
Oh yeah,
like it's unacceptable.
Yeah, it's
really
crazy.
Yeah, but anyway,
I mean,
yeah,
they did end up fixing Cyberpunk though over time. I haven't really picked it up yet to play it again. I didn't return it. I just held on to it. I was like, it'll probably turn around eventually, but
yeah, I haven't played it myself either. I think it's so hard to come back from that. So much negative press, and then making the leap to finally pick it up again. It just burns out some of the fun, really.
Yeah, no, I agree. I beat God of War.
Oh,
finally.
Nice.
I really enjoyed
ending.
It. Yeah, it was a very satisfying ending. I thought it was very well done. There was one, I won't spoil who it is, but there's one conflict that it starts, and this is like right at the end of the game. There's one part where I thought, oh, we're gonna enter into like a cool boss fight, and then the conflict just kind of like goes up, and then it just kind of dies down immediately. Like it starts, you think there's gonna be a fight, and then there really isn't. And I was a little disappointed that we didn't get to fight, but. Other than that, I mean, like, that's just me nitpicking. Like, it doesn't ruin the game at all. I just thought, like, that one particular character moment felt a little rushed. But other than that, I really enjoyed it. And I think it's a very, very good game. I thought the music was really good.
Sorry, does it end like the first game where it teases you with the fight with Thor and then picks up in the sequel?
No, you fight. Like, this one pretty much wraps up the...
Oh, okay.
Like with Odin and everybody.
Oh,
I think they were planning to do a trilogy.
That's what I thought it was.
I think they still very well could, but it ended on a note where it seems like it ended on a way like it could go further, but at the same time it feels like it could also end where it was.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a little bit that's kind of teasing, but at the same time I feel like it was wrapped up pretty nicely. Because I was expecting you not to fight Thor in this game. Like I thought it was just going to be the one time, but you did do a pretty cool fight and stuff. You know what my one critique is? The story bosses. So when I played it before I beat the game, did the final mission, I tried to do as much of the side stuff that I could before you have to do before. You can't really do anything else before the post game.
No return, yeah.
So you have to fight these guys called the Berserkers, and they do not fuck around those fights. Some of them are so brutally difficult.
Are they like the Valkyries?
They're like the Valkyries. I don't know, like where I think, they're a lot like the Valkyries. I'm just trying to think which would be harder. I think they're probably about the same on difficulty. Like everybody has their own little like quirk that you have to overcome in a way. Right. But I beat all those, did all the side shit, and then finally got to the end. And after I did that, the fucking story bosses compared to the Berserkers are so fucking easy. I was like, I think these are meant to be a little... Yeah, like I felt like the story bosses were so much easier than the side bosses, which is kind of a bummer. Like I get having like a post game,
Right.
and having like some stronger fights at the end, but having some of them available before the post game really fucking over prepares you for the final fight. Like, so there's that. That's kind of all. I mean, I'd recommend God of War Ragnarok. That's all I really have to recommend this week. Don't really have too much because I think we're going to run a little long today.
Right.
With
yeah,
the
lots to
topic
talk
at
about.
hand. So we'll keep our recommendations quick. I'm going to just say God of War, Ragnarok, finished it. Like, really, really good game. I still think Elden Ring is game of the year.
Absolutely.
We'll talk about that in our closer to the end of the year. We'll talk about what our best games and stuff are. I still believe Elden Ring is a little bit better, but narratively, I think it was probably the best game narrative of like the last couple of years. So,
wow. So
I do
better
recommend
than the first God of War, you think?
Yeah, I really enjoyed the story this time around.
Okay.
Other than that, movie I watched Necromantic 2. That was really fun.
How was that?
It wasn't that bad. It was
No?
more graphic than the first one, that's for sure.
Right.
But the weird part was I kind of timed it so that it finished when my girlfriend showed up. And of course, she showed up early, so it was like right at the climax of the film, and people kept coming downstairs, and she's like zip tying a dude's dick, cutting his head off and shit, and I'm just like, having sex with him while she's cutting his head off, and I'm just like,
what was the
please.
first one like? If this one is gorier, or
the first one had like this disgusting decaying body that she put like a piece of like a wooden dildo on, and she had sex with it. And then the ending is the guy stabbing himself while fucking cooming all over himself and all over the room, and then it eventually erupts with blood.
Damn.
And then he dies.
What a way to go.
Yeah. It was
that
fucking
man saw
wild.
God the whole time. Jeez.
It was fucking wild.
That's some Hellraiser shit. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Damn. It's German, right? The German
it's
name?
German.
Yeah. See? Can't trust them over there. You don't know what's going to happen.
The sneaky Germans.
The sneaky Germans. They'll build a wall again. Be careful.
Oh,
man. Oh, you know what I was kind of bummed about? Kind of relieved about? I don't know. The Snyderverse is kind of being like scrapped by James Gunn. Like he just scrapped Wonder Woman 3, which is fine. I didn't really care for the second one. But
no, Wonder Woman, I
think
honestly didn't.
I wonder if someone else is going to helm the Justice League now.
Yeah, I wonder.
Did you watch the HBO cut, like the Snyder cut?
Yeah, we talked about it.
Oh, of course. Yeah, we did. Oh,
we did a full episode
on the podcast. Sorry, I was short.
That was the last episode. That was the last episode before we went on a year-long hiatus.
Oh, yeah. It was that good. It took us all year to watch it because it's 4.5 hours long.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a very distinct style he's put on a Justice League and an expectation. So I wonder where it's going to go from here. I hope it doesn't go Marvel's route, but I like James Gunn. I like what he's done with Guardians. So I trust him with it.
Hopefully it's steps in the right direction.
Yeah. I don't know. We will see.
Yeah. All right, let's
get right into it.
Move on to today's topic. So today's topic was we're talking about our favorite TV shows of all time. Maybe not of all time, but just some of our favorites that I don't know, just something to talk about. Some of our favorite shows. I'm gonna let you start us off.
Sure.
That's okay. What's the first show that you would? What's your first favorite show that you would recommend?
Oh damn! If we're ranking this, I got to change my.
You can, or just like we don't have to rank it. No particular order.
All right.
No particular order. This
one, it snuck up on me. I think it was a sleeper hit of 2019. It was always kind of there, but never really talked about. This being Sharp Objects, the HBO miniseries based off this novel of the same name by Gillian Flynn, who did Gone Girl, famously. You know, great movie. So this miniseries also focuses on cycles of violence, specifically against women, and the stakes of repression from generational trauma. So they kind of set it off. It starts in a town called Windgap, and their main infrastructure or export or whatever is hog butchering. right? So immediately ingrained in the city itself in Michigan is that violent nature already, which is nice. So it stems from that, and it's in the deep South. So during the Civil War, there was a lot of conflict there, obviously. And
So is this a horror series, or just like a heightened drama?
Heightened drama, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, cause I thought this was a fucking slasher.
No. Well,
I thought this was a slasher.
Oh, damn.
And it was like, cause like the poster shows Amy Adams and then the two characters who are like they look like lifeless corpses, and I was like, oh man, this is like, I didn't watch any trailers. I only just went off what I thought the title was. So, cause I'm completely ignorant to what you're talking about.
Fair enough. Yeah, the sharp objects refer to the lead character, Camilla, who's played by Amy Adams, who, because a lot of her trauma is repressed to what happened to her in the town, she can't really lash out because of a lot of, further oppression on her by her family and her status there. So she gets a really serious self-harm. What would you call it? Disorder? I don't know.
Yeah, like cutting?
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
So that's what the sharp objects refer to. So
does she do it long ways or sideways?
Both ways. It's really upsetting.
That's inappropriate. Is it like epic, like 13 Reasons Why epic, or
where the epic score is playing and she's like got the Jesus Christ figure as she's got her wrist slit, just bleeding to death in a bathtub? No, not quite like that. No, it's a lot less romanticized, and it's
okay.
I think it's a far better depiction of mental health and self-harm.
So do you think that what, like, obviously your Sharp Objects depicts it better, you just admitted to it, but what do you think would get the message across? A more dramatized version, like in 13 Reasons Why, where it was all the music and the wide shot in the tub and whatnot, or do you think it's this version, which is, I haven't seen the show, but I'm just saying, what do you think is more, like, what do you think people would more so want to see?
Jeez, I don't know. I think 13 Reasons Why took was kind of like a wolves in sheep clothing, where it was like, we're trying to be like really, call this number if you need any help, but at the same time they're like checking off traumas and horrible things like it's a freaking game show, and it does it in a manner where it feels exploitive, I think, definitely. And Sharp Objects takes a far more intimate approach, and it really kind of dives into the psyche of the person who's doing it and why she's doing it and how she gets out of it. I think it's a far better approach to just kind of clump a bunch of
they did.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because I remember, I mean, for me, obviously I love the shock value and I love the gore, and I think if you're gonna do it right, like fucking close up, get in there, make it horrific.
If you're gonna do it to the point where Netflix has to later cut it out.
I mean, and that's just me because I'm a gore hound, so I'm not trying to be offensive or anything, by no means. But God, gonna have to put a trigger warning or something. But,
surprise!
No,
I'm warning.
Trigger warning. Yeah. So I have not seen this show. In all honesty, it really does not sound like something I would watch. Like, I thought it was a horror show. And if I I do like Gone Girl, so maybe going off of, but this is like a totally different director. It's not David Fincher? Fincher?
It's not David Fincher. No.
Yeah, it's not David Fincher. Oh no, this guy's the Dallas Buyers Club. Wild.
Oh, he recently passed away. Oh, yeah.
Oh, Jean-Marc Vallée?
Yeah, he passed away last year. Or earlier this year even. Because I just watched the Dallas Buyers Club.
December. He passed away December 25th, 2021.
Okay, so it was last year. Damn.
Yeah. Well, that sucks.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I will watch it then.
There you go. It's a legacy. It's a legacy moment. Oh boy. Well, off that depressing note, what is one of yours?
So I'm gonna curveball it.
Curveball.
180 turn.
It's always Hunter with the curveballs.
I'm trying to think what I should start with on my list.
Let me know what page you got to flip through.
Just trying to think here. I don't have many. I think I have 4. Yeah, I got 4. One of them I'm just going to briefly touch on. I guess we'll start with that. So one of my favorite shows of all time is Mystery Science Theater 3000. I really prefer... I think all the hosts are great on the show, for sure. I really prefer the first season. I think it's Joel Hodgson for the first.
Okay, and this is the original, right? Not the...
Yeah,
there was
original.
a Netflix remake, right?
Yeah, the original. I like the Netflix series. The only thing I'm not a fan of is the fucking in-between gags. And, like, the first season, it's fine when they cut back to the scientist and stuff. But then I think when they had their second host, they would switch between this fucking chick named Pearl and this monkey sidekick and then this Uncle Fester-looking guy. They were not funny, and I didn't like them at all. I always skipped those parts. And then in the most recent season with Jonah Ray, this is the Netflix one. Like, I like the Netflix one for sure, but it's the same with fucking Patton Oswalt, and I don't remember the other female host. They were just so unfunny. It's like,
darn,
that kind of blew it, but I always would just skip over it anyways. So that's the power of Netflix and on demand, where as if you were watching this on TV, you would not have that power. Yeah. You'd have to suffer through it. No, I really love this show. It's super, super funny. I find, like, it's very impressive the amount of jokes that they have to tell for like an hour and a half movie, and the amount they write, and the amount, like, basically once you start it, there's jokes the whole way fucking through. Like, they don't let up for they don't let up for a second. Like, as soon as the movie's playing, it's jokes. Some of the jokes land, and even when they don't, they're saying so many fucking jokes that eventually one's gonna land.
Right.
And it is so entertaining, and like, sounds you're watching the fucking.
Too. Is it like a fun chaotic?
You're more so hearing the like, it's pretty well balanced audio wise. I find it's pretty well balanced. I really, really do love this show though. I'm just trying to think of some examples. So the one example I have is they do fucking Manos, the Hands of Fate. That's probably the best. That's the fan favorite episode, I'd say. It might be their highest rated episode.
The only reason I know of that is because Ted Mosby from How I Met Your Mother said it was the worst movie ever made on his date with Stella.
It's very much the worst movie ever made.
Damn.
Yep, Manos, highest rated episode. Manos, the Hands of Fate. Probably the best episode, and probably the one I would recommend to start with.
Okay.
But they do all kinds of fucking movies, and they're these shitty fucking straight to fucking TV, like, made for TV movies, fucking public domain. Santa Conquers the Martians. Super fun, highly recommended, like, just for the cheesiness factor. But man, it is a super fucking fun show.
You know what? I think I would like it, given our mutual love for the Nostalgia Critic, our Doug Walker.
Exactly. The one thing that I find is every time I try to show this show to somebody, they always end up fucking not watching and then just fading away. And then I'm just like, oh, you don't like bad movies? And they're like, no, I like bad movies. I just don't like their jokes. And then I was like, okay. So then we start watching bad movies, and then they proceed to be the most unfunny person in the room. And I'm just like, yeah, no.
Jokes?
It's like, shut the fuck up. Leave it to the professionals, man. But it is one of my favorite shows. It's super fucking fun.
Right on. I've heard lots about it, mostly through you. So I'll it'll eventually get checked off.
All fucking bad puns. Sometimes my favorite part, dude, is when you don't really get the joke. Like, they'll be making, like, in one instance, there was one episode, they're all quacking. Like, they're going like quack, 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 quack. And I'm like, what the fuck are they doing that? Like, and it's only when this guy opens the door, and they open the door, there's a fucking photo of a duck in the background. And I'm like, that's why they're fucking quacking. I was like, you wouldn't catch that. Like, What if you missed that on the fucking VHS or when you were watching it on TV? Like, you wouldn't fucking understand. You'd be like, what the fuck?
Again, the wonders of modern TV and streaming. Love to see that.
Exactly. Yeah, it's super fun. And especially the first season with Joel Hodgson. Hodgson. Highly recommend that first season. It is incredibly funny.
Do you have a favorite episode?
Favorite episode?
Or like a notable one?
Probably Gamera versus what the fuck? How do you pronounce that? Gyron. The Manos Hands of Fate episode, obviously classic. Just gonna look at the episodes. I haven't seen every episode because there's like 200 episodes.
Oh damn! I didn't realize it was that big. Okay.
There's a lot. It's been running for a while since the '88. I'm pretty sure.
It's been running this whole time.
They're not running it anymore, but I Accuse My Parents. That's the one with the duck quack. That one was fucking funny. Santa Claus Conquers the Martian. That one's great too.
Sounds incredible. Sounds like a peanut butter solution should be on this list.
How dare you? That's the best movie ever.
Top quality kids entertainment. Yeah.
Exactly. I think the Giant Spider Invasion, Giant Gila Monster's good. Yeah, they're all fucking fantastic.
Damn. Okay.
That's kind of it. I don't really have too much to say about it. It's kind of a harder show to talk about because like each episode's fucking almost 2 hours. So
okay, yeah, fair enough.
Because
like
it's a full
films.
movie, and then they're splicing in like skits in between it and stuff. So it's a little bit to watch each episode, but I do say it's worth it in the end.
Right on. Well, eventually I'll take the plunge.
There you go.
There we go.
All right, what's your
second
movie?
My second one, and this one is much more of like an actual all-time favorite that I've seen countless times now, and it's one of those shows that I just love showing people, which is Avatar: The Last Airbender. Phenomenal show in every regard. I can just gush about it forever. The characters are lovable and notable. The animation quality is spot on. It's beautiful. It deals with some very mature themes, like themes of war and adolescence and loss and grief, and a lot of familial issues.
Nice.
It's just everyone's favorite.
There you go.
But then
it's I think it's like one of the highest rated shows on IMDb.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. And M. Night Shyamalan came out, kind of took a shit on it, but now there's still a new Netflix Avatar coming out, live action, which is looking much better, and the cast is ethnically correct to the animation, which is also great.
Yeah.
But yeah, the thing that I think I love most about the show is like a lot of the evolutions of the characters, but also the evolution of how they bend their elements throughout, because they'll be put in situations where they're under duress. So, for example, Toth is a 12-year-old blind girl. She rock bends, but to be able to transfer her back to her family because she escaped with the Avatar, they put her in like a big metal box and then travel her all the way back. And then throughout that ride back, she kind of meditates and figures like the minerals in the metal are still earth technically, so she starts metal bending. And it's things like that are just so fun to see. Like the fire turns into lightning, rock also turns into lava, and with the air you got the spirit world, and it's just amazing. And you got Mark Hamill as Ozai, which is phenomenal.
And what was his Mako as fucking the Grandpa Iroh, the T guy, Iroh, fucking Samurai Jack, which almost made my list.
Oh, yeah.
That's a fucking Aku from Samurai Jack. Plays I don't know what's his name, Uncle Iroh or something.
Uncle Iroh, yeah, who's an incredible character. If you get to season 3, I think it's like episode 7, Tales of Ba Sing Se, you will weep, my friend.
That's when he's like he sings the song to the tree, right, where his son is.
Yeah, where his son died in battle, but the song they actually wrote, because the original voice actor of Iroh played him in season 1 passed away. So it was like
I remember I remember that episode because it kind of popped up like I think around COVID. Everyone started watching all the shows they were skipping out on.
Yeah,
Mako, there he is.
And then there was The Legend of Korra, which it's still good. It's not nearly as good. I don't think the cast is the characters are as likable, and it takes more of like an anthology approach. So each season, like the conflict resolves and it just kind of starts up again in the second season. I don't think that is as strong as like 3 seasons of building up to one really strong cause and just following everybody throughout because they are still children. There's so much to learn. I don't know. I get it, facing different threats, but
Fair.
I think it was a bit messy and choppy overall.
Fair.
Yeah. Have you seen it?
I've seen like a couple episodes. I haven't watched the full series.
Right.
I have been meaning to. I've just like I watched the first 2 episodes. I just couldn't get into it. Like I couldn't. Like I know like it's obviously going to get better, but I just couldn't get into it. And then, I just couldn't get into it right away, and I just kind of pushed it aside. So I am meaning to watch it. I know isn't Dave Filoni from Clone Wars?
Yeah.
Doesn't he have? He has a lot to do with the show.
He's involved, yeah.
And I mean, Clone Wars again, another show that almost made my list.
Season 7 of the Clone Wars almost made my list. Like that season specifically, that 4-parter, baby. That's
dude. I love the Clone Wars animation style. I love the character design. Like every time I like watch, every time with like just a side tangent on Clone Wars, like every time I want to watch that show, I always hesitate. Because it's like, oh, it's Star Wars, blah, blah, blah. But then every time I watch an episode, I end up watching like fucking 20 of them. I'm like, God damn it. It's such a good show.
It's amazing. The movie, when that came out in like, I don't know, 2009 maybe, was the first movie I ever saw in theaters. And that's kind of... So the movie isn't great, looking back at it now, but...
No, but the movie's decent,
when I was
dude.
like,
compared to the shit we get today, Star Wars related.
So I fucking idolized that, and I didn't have whatever the fuck it was on. Was it Cartoon Network?
Yeah, Cartoon Network.
I didn't have that, or my parents didn't let me watch it or whatnot. So I always went to my buddies, and I'd watch like a scattered array of episodes, and then go back home. So I never watched it fully consistently until it came out on Disney. And that was just glorious because you can just go through it. But, yeah. Amazing show.
It's a fucking good show.
Great show.
It's a good-ass show, man. Both of them. I haven't seen fucking Avatar The Last Airbender. What's your favorite episode? Or do you have one?
Ooh. Of Avatar?
Avatar, yeah.
I think the Avatar and the Fire Lord, because it tells the story of how the Fire Nation came to be and how the Avatar was defeated and then how Aang got trapped in the ball of ice. It just explains the whole 100-year gap, basically. And it's a really good exposition episode. It's not even really exposition. It's just a really good flashback episode.
The history kind of deal.
Yeah, which is really satisfying because it happens like halfway through season 3, like right before all the shit goes down. So it's a nice little break and amazing episode.
My favorite thing is it's like I know people that watch this show and are like, man, like I wonder what the Japanese version is, and I'm just like, I'm pretty sure it's fucking American made. Like I know people that are like adamant that this is like anime from Japan. I'm just like,
it's like Pokemon.
Man, this is fucking this is fucking Nickelodeon.
Hold on, now 1 second. I'm gonna fact check myself. Is Pokemon the TV show is not American made? Is it?
The TV show's Japanese made. They dub it in the U.S., but they changed so much of it. Like in the original season, the first season of Pokemon was called Pocket Monsters.
Right.
Had a totally different theme song and was mainly produced in Japan. But when it came over to America, they fucking Americanized the hell out of it. So,
damn. Do you know that Ash became champion finally after 22 years?
I heard that
in a recent episode.
I heard that. I'm glad that he's at least winning.
He's hasn't aged a fucking day, but he's winning.
Yeah, fuck.
That's what matters. He's got the fountain of youth. Oh man. Okay, I'm gonna throw it back to you because I know which one you have next, and that one's fucking chaotic. So take it away.
All right. Again, this is this is kind of on my list by default. This is my comfort show. Like I watch this fucking show almost every single day. I watch an episode in the background, or I love this show to death. It's grown on me. It is so fucking funny. That's Kenny versus Spenny, the Canadian show, reality Canadian show, dude. It is so fucking funny. And I highly recommend anyone that's out there to watch the show. It's free on YouTube. Kenny, the guy from the show, posted quite a few episodes on his YouTube channel. Not every single episode, but a fair bit. And then the production company, Breakthrough Entertainment, has posted all the rest of the show on YouTube. So it kind of I would prefer watching it through Kenny's channel, but the episodes you can't get to, obviously, you have to watch it through Breakthrough. But same episodes, super, super funny.
Are those just episodes that are too fucked up to pass YouTube's guidelines?
No, so even Breakthrough Entertainment has all the episodes because Kenny didn't post on his YouTube channel Who Do Black Guys Like More and Who's the bigger idiot. Those were the two he didn't post on his channel originally, but Breakthrough put both the episodes on YouTube. So you can watch them and they're fucking hilarious.
Damn.
Like the Who Do Black Guys Like More has one of the most fucking evil, devious plots against Spenny. I won't spoil it.
Spenny always get fucked every
time. Dude, Spenny is like the greatest character. So okay, I had a couple things to say about this show. So
take it away.
The only reason this show works is because of Spenny. Like people have made this show. There's a German ripoff of this show. I can't remember what it's called. I can actually look it up. German Kenny vs. Spenny ripoff. And they basically copied the show like down to a T. Even the fucking intro is the exact same intro theme.
That's shameless.
Like it's literally, what's it called?
It's twice now the Germans are doing something sneaky in one episode.
Let me see. German ripoff. Maybe it wasn't German. So there was a ripoff. Okay, I can't fully remember. I'll have to. I don't know. I'll correct myself in the next episode. But there's a German ripoff of the show called like something versus something, and they ripped the theme song off. Like if you watch the Kenny vs. Spenny intro, they just took that intro and photoshopped their faces on top of Kenny vs. Spenny. Like it is shameless. But the show, it doesn't work because both of them are kind of both acting deviously.
Yeah, you can't have that.
And like they almost know too much about the show, and they're trying to act. They're both trying to fill in their idea. It's weird. So I don't recommend that. The only reason this show works is because of fucking Spenny. Like
yeah,
Kenny
they're dynamic. Yeah.
Like Kenny is like an emotionally evil, manipulative man.
He's a fucking sociopath.
Will stop at nothing to win. And Spenny is this fucking egotistical, emotionally broken man that
he's a shell of a man.
Falls for everything. And like some episodes the best part is some episodes you're rooting for Kenny, some episodes you're rooting for Spenny. Like you never really have a full who you're rooting for.
Right.
Like you're never like, oh, this is like oh, I'm a kid. Like I know there are people that do that, but for me personally, I always find like there are certain episodes where I'm just rooting for Spenny, some episodes I'm rooting for fucking Kenny the whole time. Like, and like every time you feel like Spenny has the opportunity to win or to catch Kenny cheating, he just fucking doesn't, and he's too stupid to fucking...
Yeah, and then he gets fucking, like, really bad counterattack, because he'll have an opportunity to fix himself and get him out of a situation, and then he's like, oh, you know what? No, I should play fair. And then Kenny comes along and fucking baseball hams him in the head. Yeah. It's like,
I'm trying to think of some of the best examples.
Oh, man.
Trying to think.
Do you remember the farting one? The very first one you showed me, where who can rip the loudest fart?
So that's one of my
longest fart.
So my top 3 episodes are Haunted House, who can stay in a haunted house the longest, who can blow the biggest fart, and then who can keep a dead octopus on their head the longest.
That's fucking
So
gross.
start off. So biggest fart is probably... This is probably what the series is known for, and I honestly have to say this is the hardest I've honestly ever laughed at a TV show in my entire life. I remember hearing it, and like you have to kind of have an infantile sense of humor, but holy fuck, there's one part, and this is the scene everybody fucking knows. If you haven't seen this episode...
This is the scene Hunter showed me for the very first time.
If you haven't seen this scene... and you haven't seen this episode, close it right now and watch it, because
don't ruin the surprise.
This is better when it comes without you knowing. I'll fucking write this scene out. So Spenny's on the fucking couch. He's leaning over. He's trying to fart into this stupid like device that reads the methane level or something, so they know who had the biggest fart. And he's sitting on the couch, and Kenny, who has just pumped his ass full of fucking air, comes out in this red fucking onesie pajama undersuit, and he just kind of like casually walks up and farts right on Kenny's head, and so Kenny farts right on Spenny's head, and it's like this kind of like, and it's like Spenny fucking sits up, like touches his hair as if fucking Kenny just shit on him, and he like flicks his hand, he goes, Kenny runs to the stairs, and then Spenny goes, "Don't do that." Fucking Kenny looks over, and he has this like the most iconic face, and he lets out the loudest fucking fart. Like, it is so perfectly timed, and it just goes on. Like, it literally lasts almost 30 seconds, and the whole crew is on the fucking ground laughing. Spenny's in fucking shock, and then just looks at the camera and goes, "He didn't even measure it." Like,
you standing with gaping mouth, just looking at Kenny, like kind of fucking perched up on the staircase, just ripping a 3-minute fart. It's gross.
My god! And then the fucking dude, when I first saw that, I legitimately nearly cried. And usually that's the episode I first show people. Cut that. Ugh. Just burped in my mouth. But that's usually the episode I show people just because it's so fucking funny. And it's just like, you don't really, like, you know it's going to be a fucking huge fart, but at the same time, you don't really expect it. And it still fucking makes you laugh. Even to this day, I still chuckle at it, even though I've seen that episode
it's the way Kenny
times.
Is standing and the look in his eyes when he looks at Spenny.
It's the look in his fucking eyes, dude, sells it.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, so the classic thing I hear about this show is that people always say, don't start with season 1. Season 1's the worst. And in fairness, out of all the other seasons, it is the weakest, but there are really, really decent episodes in season 1. This is kind of when they were more so like tame. Like, they weren't trying to be like they were censored. They were on CBC. I think like CBC, like, pretty, like, so they were like not like I don't know how to say it. They weren't like trying to be like, they were trying to be more condensed. There are some pretty good episodes in here. Just trying to think what would be the ones to recommend from season 1. Who Can Stay Awake the Longest? Classic episode, definitely recommended from season 1. You know what? I'm not going to really recommend everybody. I'm not going to recommend all the episodes. I could go through them all. There's like 24. I would recommend season 1, honestly. It's a great kind of starting point because you see each of their personalities. Right. And you honestly kind of, like, Spenny's a normal person in season 1 compared to season 2. And then watching the season progressively, it just gets fucking worse and worse, and he gets more neurotic and crazy.
Yeah, Spenny just gets beat down in real time. You just get to watch it.
It's so fucking funny. So second favorite episode, Haunted House. Who Can Stay in a Haunted House the Longest? You're literally watching a crazy man torment a dude that believes in ghosts and is easily scared for 20 minutes. And then it ends really fucking funnily too. Like, Kenny's trying to summon Satan and all this stuff. It's so funny. Like, if you love fucking scare pranks,
that sounds like
I recommend it.
That's funny.
Or fucking seance. Yeah, dude. And then Octopus on the Head, another classic. Basically, Kenny slips Spenny fucking 3 hits of acid.
Damn.
And Spenny starts going crazy, and he's like fucking...
While he has an octopus on his head?
While he has an octopus on his head. And he keeps it on for like the majority of like obviously he takes it off, but the fucking journey is so funny.
I need to watch that. What the fuck?
It's such a good
human
episode.
Experiments. Damn.
Yeah, no, it's one of my favorite shows of all time. One of my comfort shows. I always go back to it. It's so fucking funny. It's so gross. It's so
dude, it's
rude.
So gross. I recently saw one of the humiliations. I forgot which episode it was for, but Kenny stuck out his tongue.
The poop corn. Oh no, that's that. No, that's so. What the one you're gonna talk about is from Who Do Black Guys Like More?
Oh my god!
And I'll let you describe it.
Yeah, Kenny. Oh god. Okay, so Kenny takes like a butter knife and sticks out his tongue, and it's like fucking all gross and patchy, like as a tongue would be. And he scrapes it like completely. And it's got like this gross, thick, like yellow, viscous,
slimy, fucking layer of plaque on his tongue. Yeah, so it's like saliva. Fucking, I think he said he ate a thing of mushroom soup before he did it,
as we were talking
and then he fucking plops it right on fucking Spenny's tongue, and the whole crew is like puking. Everyone's like gagging like crazy. It's so funny.
I just almost threw up myself. Holy shit! I had to actually step back for a minute. I thought I was gone.
Oh my god!
That's stuff like that, man. Like things put in your mouth or like body. Can't even talk about it. Stuff like that makes me want to die.
Oh, I want to know what the. Okay, so in the episode "Who Can Squeeze More Boobs,"
nice.
They the humiliation like for that episode is Kenny eats a handful of like popcorn kernels and then picks them out of his shit and then cooks it into popcorn.
My God, that's
and
creative.
Then Spenny eats it. Mm-hmm. But like the weirdest part about that is Spenny's eating popcorn with a spoon. Like he picks the bowl up, has a spoon, and then picks up like and then is eating it. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Do they agree upon the humiliations beforehand, or is that just like a winner gets all, make it up on the spot?
I think the humiliations aren't filmed before, like after. They're obviously filmed. They're not filmed before the competition. Like the competitions are usually, I don't think, like there might be an episode or two that are more so staged, but I think the show's pretty legit.
So they don't know they're going to have to eat poop corn if they lose.
Poop corn. Oh yeah, no, they don't know what the humiliation is.
Right.
I know that in the one humiliation that was in the fucking episode "Who Can Keep a Dump in Their Pants the Longest," probably the grossest episode. They take a shit in their diapers and they have to see who can keep it in their pants the longest.
That sounds unhealthy.
Kenny gives Spenny laxatives, so his diaper's full of fucking shit the whole episode.
Oh.
Dude, the behind the scenes of that episode is fucking disgusting.
Yeah.
Like, I think Kenny puts dog shit in Spenny's diaper and Spenny can't take the shit out or he loses. And then the best one is Kenny calls a girl that Spenny has a crush on, and she shows up to the house. And then Kenny's like, "Oh, you know what competition we're doing this week?" She's like, "No. When we take a shit in our diapers." She's like, it's so uncomfortable, but so
appalling.
Funny.
What would you even do?
Oh my god, he's like hiding in the corner. It's so awkward, dude.
Oh my god. Fuck, there's this fucking. I also don't know which one is this from. I just keep recollecting clips, but I remember there's one where Kenny forges a letter from the Ministry of Health.
Yeah, that's who's funnier, dude. That one. So depending on where you watch that episode, this is the only one that I recommend. Like, you have to watch this episode on Kenny's channel, because the Breakthrough channel censored it and they changed the humiliation at the end. But yeah, Kenny forges a letter from the government and basically makes it so Spenny thinks he has AIDS. And the whole episode, dude, he tries to do this, like, so then he's like performing. He's like, "I'm going to do a message to everyone that has AIDS that they can go up and perform stand-up." And he does, like, he starts off pretty decently at stand-up. Like, it's not the best, but I think if he just kept it, but then eventually he breaks down and he starts saying like, "Oh, I have AIDS," and it's like, it's so uncomfortable to watch someone bomb. To watch someone bomb at stand-up, dude, is the fucking worst.
I got secondhand embarrassment from watching Joker. That was rough.
Oh yeah,
dude, that's such a risk you take going up there, man, because you can get heckled pretty good up there.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, the pressure.
So that is like one of the fucking funniest endings. And then at the end, I don't remember what the humiliation is in the censored episode.
Doesn't Kenny bring Spenny to the doctors, and the doctor is John Gaylord? and he diagnoses him officially, says like HIV can kill you, and he gets really upset because he thinks he's gonna die.
I feel like that's a real doctor, though. I don't think the doctor was like.
Okay, but then it was really funny.
I don't think it was.
It said John Gaylord. I really thought that had to be a stage name.
That's a real name.
Ooh, my bad.
It's
John,
like
Mr. Gaylord.
John Gaylord. Hold on, I gotta check this. I'm gonna have to like look.
It's an
up
actual licensed physician.
Yeah, but Kenny vs. Spenny, dude, one of my favorite fucking shows of all time. I think my favorite humiliation on the whole show is who can win an arm wrestling competition. So I don't really want to discuss the episode too much, but the best fucking part of that whole episode is the humiliation is Spenny has to unplug a public toilet filled with shit. So there's like this literal brown watered toilet with like toilet paper, and he has to put his hand in and move it around. And he does, and he fucking picks something up out of the toilet. It's so fucking funny, dude.
On live TV. That's fucking disgusting. Oh,
it's so but what makes me laugh is the prep for this episode was they probably drove to like 15 different public washrooms looking for
to find the worst one. They probably went to fucking like truck stops or something
looking for a plugged toilet, so they're like looking through them all. There's none here, we gotta go to the next one. Just to find it.
Can you imagine how terrible that ride must have been for Spenny, just to go from toilet to toilet to find the worst one for it.
To find the worst look, yeah.
That's just agony.
All right, dude, I'm gonna pass it over to you. What's your?
I'll keep this one brief because it's I don't know. So this is another favorite show of mine. It started off because I love Mads Mikkelsen. I love everything he's in. I started drinking Carlsberg because he did an advertisement where he said it's probably the best beer in the world. And it was good. So most things he said now I've kind of just gone with. But this is Hannibal, the Brian Fuller show, which he fought very hard for to keep on live or on air because of its very grotesque nature. For those who don't know, Hannibal is the prequel series to The Silence of the Lambs, and it explains the relationship between Will Graham and Hannibal's journey from being free in the world as a psychiatrist to being caught and being behind bars, and where he is as Anthony Hopkins in the Silence of the Lambs movie. And while just looking this up again, I was really excited to see that Jodie Foster, so the lead from Silence of the Lambs, is playing the lead in True Detective Season 4, which is another one of my favorite TV shows. So I'm very excited about that. But yeah, go watch it. Don't want to give anything away. Go in raw. Have fun. Don't eat while you watch it.
I watched the first season of that. I was trying to finish it, but again, I got caught up with school and stuff. Couldn't really finish it. Couldn't really find the time, but I did really enjoy it. I think the
season Mads one, Mikkelsen, if you made it through season 1 and you liked it, you'll like season 2 and 3 a lot more. It really picks up because
I remember they find some dude and they're like in a field, and then this fucking hand comes out of the ground and all these fucking people are like covered in like mushrooms growing. That fucking freaked me out, dude. I was like, Jesus.
Yeah, he's using them as live fertilizer and then eats the mushrooms that grow out of their body. Dude. Yikes.
I do remember it though. I do remember liking it. I love Mads Mikkelsen. Same as you. I really like him. He's a really great actor. But yeah, so I mean, yeah, we're running a bit high on time because my next show. I'm trying to think. Okay, I'll keep this brief. I had a lot more to say about it, but I'll keep this brief, really, really brief. So my next show.
No, take it away.
My next show was Amazing Race. This is probably out of every show I think listed today, this is probably the easiest show to watch in my opinion. Literally pick up from any season, first episode, watch, easy as can be. There's no fucking, you don't need to know the context, it's a reality show. They explain everything in every episode anyways. Super, super fun. There's a couple of like moments where if you're looking for just like quick, cheap entertainment, not really cheap, but if you're looking for like quick entertainment, like a show to put on in the background while you're working, it's just kind of white noise. You listen to it every now and again. You look up who's going to win, stuff like that. It's super, super fun. They go all around the world, do all these challenges. I'll say the season I would recommend everybody start to watch, if you are choosing to watch it, is season 3. It probably has one of the worst fucking teams in the entire show's history, but it's so entertaining to watch them.
The worst people on reality TV are always the best.
I think it's Will and Tara. I don't want to spoil too much because it's just so when they are first introduced, when I first watched the series with my girlfriend, she was like, they're a couple that's split up, so they're deciding if they're going to go through with the divorce or not. So you're like why are they doing a fucking race around the world when they're on the rocks?
On the brink of a fucking divorce. Yeah, that sounds
and then,
like
dude,
some nice pressure.
throughout the whole fucking season, they're at each other's throats. Will is the most annoying fucking person in the history of the world. Like, there's parts in the episode that genuinely had me, like, pacing. Like, because I was I was like, I hope this fucker loses so bad. But there's stuff that just fucking drove me up the wall with this guy. Like, and when you're finally watching them fail and like come in last, you're literally cheering. Like, you're audibly cheering. That's the season 3 has one of my favorite teams. I think it's Danny and Oswald.
Is it every season is a different location?
Every season is not a different location, but yeah, kind of different locations, but basically. So let's say the first season, you're always going to start in the States, but you'll start in a different city. So it'll be LA, New York. The host will show up, and I think originally it was you run to your bags, get into the car, and then you drive to the airport and you get your first location. So sometimes, I can't remember what season 3's starting point was, but season 6 was they flew from the U.S., I think it was New York, or maybe Chicago. Either way, they flew from the U.S. to Iceland, and then once they get to Iceland, they are told, like, you got to go to this city, or, like, you have to go to, like, this church or this landmark, and you'll receive your next clue. They get their next clue, and then it'll usually go to a roadblock or a detour, and so the detour is 2 challenges. Both kind of have their pros and cons, as Phil says it, and they vary depending on where they are. Usually it's just something to do with the local culture, stuff like that. So and then the roadblock.
A big scavenger hunt.
Pretty much a big scavenger hunt. And then it kind of whittles down the teams that way. So like at the end of the leg, you get to your final, like you got to check in at this pit stop. You get to the pit stop, and then you're like, if you last team there is out kind of deal.
Gotcha.
So one of my other favorite seasons, this has my favorite moment. I'm going to keep this really, really quick. My favorite moment in like all the season that actually had me like up on the fucking chair, like honestly trying to hope they fucking would make it, is season 6. Had a lot of, so this season ended in a fucking bummer, but it had some of the worst teams. Like, this was literally pick the best out of the worst. Like, every team there, with the exception of one, Gus and Hera, every team there, and the old couple who I can't remember the name of, every team there was pretty awful. Like, they were just fucking loud and annoying. But there was a pro wrestler team. I told you about this after I saw it because I liked it so much. But this was fucking a couple of years. This was last year. The pro wrestler team is coming in dead last of this leg of the race. Like, they're last, but luckily it's an extended leg, so it doesn't end on the episode. It's a 2-part episode. So it involves them getting onto a train and taking the train to Hungary. They don't fucking catch the train. The last train is at like 9:30 the next day. Oh. So they're like, oh, so we're fucking out. So they're sitting on the bench, like basically fucking in tears. Like, they're like, there's no way we're going to make it. And then basically the guy goes around, he asks, like, is there any way we can get on a train? I think they get on like a fucking service train to Hungary. So they take a fucking train they're not supposed to be on. And when you see them the next morning, so the other teams that have arrived in Hungary are like, they've rested, they've got to eat, they've hung out, they're like, oh, let's go, let's do this race. Mm-hmm. These guys, when you see them the next day, they look fucking destroyed. Like, his wife, Lori, looks fucking horrible. Like she like looks like she's been up for the fucking full day of traveling, dude.
Damn.
Like, so then they get to this. So then they get to the fucking. I think it's like a train museum.
Mm-hmm.
They get to the train museum, and they all have to wait for the train museum to open. And then all the teams are lined up. Every team is caught up. So the stupid like pulling up. I don't know how to say it. They have them at the parking garages. They're like those
like
those gates that open upwards. It starts to open. Everyone starts to like push it up, trying to pry their way through. The gate swings down, hits two people in the fucking head.
Damn.
And then the pro wrestler guy and like a
Casualties.
couple other teams run at this little box with number cards on who gets to go first. Fucking somebody tackles the thing. Numbers go everywhere. The wrestler guy grabs number one. Anyways, they end up winning the leg. But it was so fucking like satisfying to see them go from last all the way to fucking first, even though they're not the best team in the whole thing, but it was just so satisfying. They got the fast forward, which involves them skipping all the challenges, going right to the pit stop.
Oh, nice.
And when they got to the fast forward is usually a little more difficult than other tasks.
So they earned their rest.
Yeah, I remember the best part about the fast forward is that they have to participate in some Hungarian folklore where they have to drink it's pig's blood, but it's like, oh, this is vampire blood. And then they get to the area and this guy who's there is wearing this dark cloak and he's giving like this sinister speech about what's going to happen. And the one lady's like, is this it? Is this it? We drink this? We drink this? And the guy's kind of like doing his spiel, and then she's like, oh, we drink it, and they fucking slam it in like a second. Like, it's done. Like, there's no hesitation from them. They just drink it, and they're like, all right, give us our clue. And the guy's like standing there like, what just happened? Like, he was like probably not expecting it. Yeah, and then they came in first. It was very, very satisfying to watch that. But that season was kind of a bummer. I don't recommend season 6 to start off with.
Sounds
but
violent, yeah.
I would definitely recommend season 3 or the first season.
All right.
Other than that,
season 3.
Do you have any? I'm going to pass it back to you. If you have a show, you're welcome to talk about it. If not, we are running a bit late.
Yeah, I think I got those 3 down. I think happy with that. It always changes, just like movies and favorite song. So
for sure,
we can do this again in a bit, and we'll have a whole different list.
Yep. So I'll just say a couple of quick honorable mentions. Not going to really go into them at all. I would say something that will probably be on our next list is Top Gear / Grand Tour. Big fans of that. I really didn't mean to talk about that, but I decided to talk about The Amazing Race instead. The other show was Goosebumps, another one of my favorites, and The Twilight Zone. Shows that I wanted to talk about, but I just wanted to kind of get these ones out, test the waters, and getting back to the old format. But definitely save them for next time. And
yeah,
do you have any quick honorable mentions you want to give out?
Oh shoot, quick honorable mentions. Comfort show, How I Met Your Mother. You also showed me that. Right on. Just another great show. I mean, I've seen it so many times now that I can just put it on anytime, start at any place, and just kind of have a good time of it. I think I watched it consistently for 7 years straight, every single summer. So I'm well versed.
That's another good one.
Yeah, that's a fun one. True Detective, mentioned that one briefly. Yeah, jeez.
Other than that, yeah, I think
I always feel so lost when people ask me like, "Oh, what's your favorite this?" and my mind just goes empty. Nothing.
Dude, same
there.
thing. Yeah, same thing. All I really knew was that I was going to talk about Kenny vs. Spenny.
Yeah.
That's the whole purpose of this episode.
You just got to gamble on it. See where the vibes take you.
Yeah.
Right on.
All right. I think that's gonna do it. I don't really have too much else to say.
No, neither do I.
The one thing. Oh. Next week, we didn't even fucking prove it. You know what? I'll let you pick the movie next week. I didn't really have it. I think it's any really movie, because we're gonna do a Christmas special pretty soon, which we gotta fucking organize. We'll do that next week, though. We'll organize everything next week. What do you want to do next week, or do you not know? Keep it a surprise.
I have an idea, but we can keep it a surprise too. And I don't know if it's good, but the cover really intrigued me, so it's a gamble. And we've done a lot of gambles so far, so I'm going to do a lot more looking into it. So
I'm thinking of let's keep it a surprise.
keep it a surprise. Let's do it.
We'll keep it a surprise. We'll see what the response is to that.
Bum, bum.
Other than that, I think that's going to do it for this episode of EchoVideo Podcast. Thank you all for listening.